we combine the needs from ecology and agriculture and the needs for Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, for our own Sentinel data flow. And as Rauno just said, that about these technical requirements, capabilities, a little about business requirements and cooperation partners. But last and not least presenter, Agnes Vask, will talk us about how to get the needed specialists for such important projects, because as we know, for every project we need excellent specialists. And Agnes, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you very much for this excellent introduction. And really, yes, I'm going to talk about how are you going to get the new scientists to operate those satellites and analyzing all the data. So I'm going to talk about astronomy and space technology in Estonian high schools, or more and less about geography and physics studies in Estonian high schools. So I am a teacher of physics from Tartu Tamme Gymnasium, which is a high school in Tartu. I have a Master of Science in Physics, graduated University of Tartu. I chose physics because physics sounded so challenging and exciting. And if I talked to my friends that I'm going to study physics, then everyone asked me, are you going to be a teacher? Are you going to be a teacher? And I was like, no, never. I'm going to be a scientist. I'm going to do science. But then I became a teacher. I never wanted to be a teacher, but here I am. So high schools in Estonia are the kids in our high schools are aged 16 to 19. High school in Estonia lasts for 3 years. And during these 3 years, students need to learn about geography and physics. Right now, there are 3 compulsory courses of geography, 5 compulsory courses of physics. 1 compulsory course is 36 academic hours. 36 hours, 1 hour is 45 minutes in academic standards. So it's 36 times 45 minutes. That's how many is 1 course. So geography, 3 courses, physics, 5 courses. And the national syllabus mentions remote sensing only once. Only once. So there's this difficult question: how are you going to get enough students who are interested enough about space technology or astronomy? You can't get enough more students in your fields of study when today's students have no idea that your field of study even exists. So physics course headlines. I'm going to talk about more about physics. There are 5 courses of physics in high school. First is Introduction to Physics, Kinematics. The second is Mechanics. The third is Electromagnetism. Fourth is Energy, and the fifth is Microphysics, Megaphysics. So the two courses where remote sensing or astronomy comes into play, or can come into play, are mechanics, and of course the last course of megaphysics. Mechanics, when we are talking about rotary systems and periods of rotating systems, and if a teacher is more enthusiastic about astronomy or satellites or space technology in general, then this teacher can tie those themes and topics of mechanics with astronomy and satellites. And of course, megaphysics as well, astronomy, which it touches upon. Then if the teacher has enough knowledge, he or she can bring satellites into play. But there are some problems. Maybe a teacher doesn't know enough about satellites. This is one problem that can come up. But the second problem is that during these 5 courses, the teacher also has to explain about technology, about computational sciences, Schrödinger's cat, and everything else, and motors and energy consumption and everything, and the teacher has to do lab works and talk with the students and everything. There's so much physics combined into 5 courses that there's not enough time to touch that interesting topic of satellites. Like so, for example, just this year with this megaphysics course, the last course, I lost half of my last course to finish up the energy course that I couldn't finish properly. And microphysics, quantum mechanics, and nuclear science, nuclear fusion, and nuclear physics is so interesting to students, that the students are so interested in Einstein's theories and nuclear bombs and radiation, that I kid you not, one class I had 10 minutes to talk about astronomy. That is the that is today's high schools in Estonia. But okay, this year was exceptional also because the remote learning, distance learning means that I can cover only 75% of the coursework that I do normally. Like normally I do 100% with when students are in my class, but remotely the workflow is that much slower. So usually, of course, I have enough time to talk about astronomy, but that enough time is only 3 or 4 classes. But not everything is lost. And I thank you very much for you to inviting me here, because I can talk to you about options, how you can attract more students into your field of work. So option 1, high schools in Estonia need to offer elective courses. And you do not need to be a teacher to teach an elective course. If you want to offer a course on space technology or cartography or satellite imagery, then you can offer it as an elective course. Just reach out to your nearest or whichever school you want, talk with them, and I assure you, the headmasters are very happy to at least like talk through. Different schools operate differently in high school in Estonia. The high schools have a lot of autonomy, so the school work the whole year can be divided differently. So one elective course might last 11 weeks in one school, 7 weeks in another school, or a whole year long. So that only depends on how frequently the classes are in the week. So you can put together an elective course and just offer it to the schools. But if you are scared of teenagers, a classroom full of teenagers, and let's be honest, who isn't, then you can't. Maybe you don't want to face like 36 teenagers. Maybe you are fine with the teaching job, but like more like supervising job. Then the option number 2 is student projects. In Estonia, now every high school student are required to do a student research project. It's called in Estonia UPT, uurimispraktiline töö, which means research or practical work. So the student can choose something practical to do. Like, for example, my students have built Tesla generator, Van de Graaff generator, Wilson cloud chamber, different things. They have restored cars, bicycles, whichever. But they can also do research projects. And for example, my students have researched into nuclear modular reactors. How are they possible in Estonian? Is it possible to build, or is it economically good to build a nuclear modular reactor in Estonia? So whichever. So just all the students in high school need to do that. This is endless. There are so many. This is your chance to, again, contact your local high school and talk with the physics teacher there, or geography teacher there, and offer some topics on UPTs, on those research projects, because the schools are so frustrated, because the teachers are very frustrated because there are so many students, and so they don't have enough ideas for the different research projects. So what you can do is take like call or email your local school science teacher and offer some research project themes, and you can supervise them. You don't need to teach the student how to write a miniature bachelor thesis. Most of the schools have preparing courses that they offer students how to write the thesis or this project, like generally. You only need to do the science part supervising, and to collaborate with the school science teacher there. So if you want to promote your field of study, then you shouldn't completely rely on physics teachers generally, because physics teachers, they don't have enough time, and they might even not know about your field of study. And there are so many other fields of study as well. So you really need to be active yourself. And I just gave you 2 options. You can build elective course for high school students, or you can supervise a student. And hopefully with those elective courses and student project supervising, you might get the student knowledgeable enough in remote sensing or space technology that those students might change their interests. And maybe there's this big problem in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths, that all the kids who are remotely good at maths go to IT. So we really need to compete against the promotion of IT, and just let's offer elective courses and supervise student projects, then we can offer this honest competition against IT. So that was all from me. And if you have any questions or want to ask me anything, here's my email, and thank you.